So if you're feeling low, it's going to help bring you up. If you're feeling too up, it's going to help mellow you a little bit. And it's really good. So one thing to note is adaptogens are kind of a band-aid, right? It's kind of like taking a pain reliever whenever you have a headache. If you're feeling a certain way, if you are feeling burned out, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling stressed out and you're running, taking an adaptogen does not get rid of that problem. Hey everyone, welcome to the Nourished and Thriving Show. I'm your host, Katie Lovett. I'm a registered dietitian on a mission to help you increase your impact and legacy on the world while healing your gut and reducing your IBS symptoms. I'm so grateful to have you here. Each week, I'll inspire you to live vibrantly and provide valuable resources and information that empowers you to take bold action towards your health goals. Before we dive in, make sure you follow or subscribe to my show wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Ready? Let's go! Hey guys, I am really excited to dive in today and talk about our topic. So we're diving in on something that may feel a little French to you or like you don't know what it is. And that is adaptogens. So I actually did an Instagram story a few weeks ago with a poll. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you go follow me at the_healthygut_dietitian. It's linked down in the show notes too for you. I'm over there all the time. So if you want more free content from me and you want to hear more from me, definitely go check me out. Anyway, that was an aside. I did a story on Instagram with a poll asking if people use adaptogens or if they like had no idea what they are. And I was kind of surprised because I feel like my followers are pretty in the know with nutrition and follow like trends and stuff. And I feel like adaptogens have been trending recently in the last couple of years. But most people were like, what in the world is an adaptogen? So it's been something on my list. I schedule my content out, pretty far in advance whenever I'm doing all this, but it's been something on my list I really wanted to circle back around to for a while since people were really not sure like what they were. And so I'm really glad that today is the day. So first of all, what even is an adaptogen? So just think about that for a minute. If you've heard of adaptogens, if you have an idea of what they are, I'm going to share what adaptogens are. So some adaptogens, I feel like a lot of people think about like adaptogenic, say that 5 times, adaptogenic mushrooms. Okay. So there's companies out there selling products. I feel like mushrooms have become kind of trendy, which is cool. I'm glad about because I honestly do not like eating mushrooms. The texture totally grosses me out. But I know they're really good for you. So I'm glad that there's more ways to get access to them now instead of just having to eat them. I wish I liked them. It's like mushrooms, olives, like all of those kind of like rubbery almost foods I can't do. So even dietitians are picky eaters sometimes. I'm actually not that picky, but yeah. Anyway, so adaptogens, yes, they can be mushrooms like reishi, stuff like that, turkey tail. Companies like Four Sigmatic and Rasa, those and there's other ones out there that I have not used and haven't read that much into. And I've seen some like conflicting information about what's in it and quality of the ingredients. But I know that Four Sigmatic and Rasa are both really good quality wise, and I've tried their products personally and can recommend them, but they're mostly about like the mushrooms, like adaptogenic mushrooms. We use coffee from Four Sigmatic and protein powder and all that. So they're really good, but there's also like herbs that are adaptogens as well. So things like holy basil, astragalus, ashwagandha, stuff like that, maca powder. But I wanted to, there's a lot of adaptogens. I'm not going to like read out a whole list of all of them because we'd be here a hot minute. I try to keep these episodes short for you guys. But I wanted to read out just kind of what they are. So they're all plants. So they're plants or herbs and mushrooms, and they're adaptogenic. So think about that word for a minute. They adapt based on what your body needs. Specifically, like typically kind of in the stress realm, they've been shown to help your adrenal function, which, you think about like adrenals, you think about burnout, adrenal fatigue, cortisol, stress, all of that. So it helps your body cope with stress. They've also been shown to help with your immune system, your mood. There's actually a study I was looking at earlier whenever I was doing research for this episode where they actually could reduce risk of cancer because of increased short chain fatty acid production from the good bacteria in your gut. So getting a little bit more scientific there, but also they really can depend. Like they bring you back into balance. So they adapt to what your body needs. So if you're like low on energy and fatigued, they can help increase cortisol production to help you feel more energetic and more mentally clear. If you're like burning, stressed out, like running around, they can help calm. So they bring you back into balance from either kind of end of that spectrum. And then they can have some of those other benefits as well I was mentioning. But 3 qualities that every plant must have to be an adaptogen. I'm going to share that with you in just a minute. But before I do that, I want you to hit pause on this podcast and go down and give me a 5-star rating wherever you're listening. And if you have a minute longer, give me a quick review telling me, telling everyone why you love this podcast. It would mean so much to me. It would help this podcast get in front of more people and help more people be able to listen to this. My mission is always to help more and more people. And you can actually help support that mission just by giving me a 5-star rating and writing a short little review about why you like my show. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so you didn't miss anything if you just did that. If not, hit pause. I'll still be here. Go do it and then come back and listen to the 3 qualities that plants have to be an adaptogen. So first of all, they have to be non-toxic when taken in normal doses. So I feel like sometimes people think, oh, it's natural, so it's safe no matter the dose. Like most like poisons are safe. Thinking about like Romeo and Juliet era, like those poisons were all, or not poisons were plants, right? Not safe, gosh. Most poisons are plants. Think about Romeo and Juliet. It's from a plant that is taken out of the normal dose can be harmful. So just remember that, like keep that in mind anytime you're doing any sort of a supplement, any sort of anything to help with your health or a natural remedy or something like that. Like follow the instructions on the package, stay within the normal dose. But adaptogens have to be non-toxic when taken in normal doses. It helps your body cope with stress. And it allows your body to return to balance or homeostasis, bringing that 8th grade biology term in here, homeostasis. So again, like it's going to help even you out. So if you're feeling low, it's going to help bring you up. If you're feeling too up, it's going to help mellow you a little bit. And it's really good. So one thing to note is adaptogens are kind of a band-aid, right? It's kind of like taking a pain reliever whenever you have a headache. If you're feeling a certain way, if you are feeling burned out, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling stressed out and you're running, taking an adaptogen does not get rid of that problem. I'm going to say that again. Taking an adaptogen does not get rid of your stress. Okay? We know that stress negatively impacts our health. You have to manage the stress. You need to start saying no to things that you need to say no to. You need to have some clear boundaries in your life. You need to say yes to things that you want to say yes to and manage your stress. It's really important. I was listening to a podcast last week and Michael Roizen from Cleveland Clinic, he's done a lot of really cool things at Cleveland Clinic, actually bringing nutrition really to the forefront and functional medicine to the forefront and bringing that into Cleveland Clinic. And he was talking about his new book that's coming out about longevity. I've not read his book because it's not out. I don't know if I recommend it or not, but he had a good point. He was like, stress is so important for longevity and quality of life. And it's something I say to my clients too, like, you can be on whatever perfect diet and perfect supplement regimen and perfect workout regimen. But if you're not managing your stress, your results are going to be limited. Okay. So as you work through, because those boundaries and stress, the stress is not going to just disappear overnight, right? You're not going to be able to put boundaries in place overnight and see all the effects of it immediately. Adaptogens are perfect to fill in that gap. or if you're going through a time that's just really hard and there's not anything you can do about it. Maybe you have a family member or a loved one who's sick, or you're having to work, a second job to make ends meet, or, something's going on that's just a hard time and it's a season and you're just needing to get through the season as best as you can and know that it's going to end at some point. An adaptogen can be really helpful to carry you through that time. We've all had that where, we just have something hard that we need to get through for a little bit. I was going through that, personally myself with some family health stuff of, I know that this is just going to be something I need to carry for a minute. And then it's going to, it will end. And so I did whatever I could to get myself through that time, and then I knew that it was going to, change at a certain point. Everyone's okay. Nothing, it didn't end because someone died or anything like that. But it was just something that I knew was increased stress to myself for a short period of time. And I really tried to care for myself in other ways during that time. I help my clients with this kind of thing all the time where, we always look at short-term strategy and long-term strategy. So long term, like, yeah, you need to cut those sources of stress and get those managed and under control. But short term, what can we do? And adaptogens can be the perfect thing to help fill in there. And so if you are one of my clients, this may be something that I would recommend to you. Now, having said that, adaptogens aren't safe for everyone, and not every adaptogen is ideal for every person. They can have an impact on your hormones. So if you're somebody struggling with PCOS, or if you're pregnant or postmenopausal, so as women, we have different hormones at different life stages. And so you really need to make sure that the adaptogens that you're taking are supporting whatever life stage you're at. There's also some medications that are, they can mess with that are contraindicated. So before you start taking a new supplement, an herb, anything like that, do make sure that you're talking to your healthcare provider about that first. If it's me, make sure you mention it that you're thinking about this. So don't just go, AWOL and go try new things on your own. So how to incorporate things, adaptogens are plants, and plants do have fibers. So I will just say, like, make sure you're getting enough water whenever you add something like this in, because it can cause GI symptoms. If just like if you go in and add a whole bunch of fiber from like a fiber supplement into your diet without also having enough water, without gradually increasing, it can make you feel worse because your body hasn't had time to adjust to it. So drinking an adaptogenic tea can be a really good option. A lot of people will add like these adaptogen powders to their smoothies, stuff like that. That can be really good too. Just like I said, be aware that it is additional fiber. And so if you're drinking this smoothie with a ton of fiber in it, it can cause issues if you're not used to it. I've actually had a client that was drinking this like insane, awesome smoothie, and it was like, it was a lot. And we really think that it was contributing to some of her GI symptoms. So we had her stair step that down a little bit. If, by the way, you're sitting here thinking, man, I wonder if like my smoothie is contributing to my symptoms. I wonder if adaptogens would be helpful for me. And I don't really know who to ask because there's no way my primary care physician would be educated on this topic or encourage me. And so they would just probably tell me to stay away from it because they don't know. If you're needing someone to guide you and support you and help walk you through that, and you're interested in this or curious in this, reach out to me and let's just talk. Send me a message on Instagram. Let's see if, you'd be a good fit for gut rehab, if this is something that you've been struggling with, if you're curious about, and let's just have a conversation and see if this is something that would be a good next step for you. I'd love to talk about how I could support you as you work to, improve your health and your health journey. So that's all I've got for today, but I hope that that was helpful with adaptogens. I wanted to just, clarify what they are, how they can be helpful. And then there is one other thing that I wanted to add in that I forgot about. Sorry. If you're taking them, back to short-term, long-term strategy, it's not something meant for long-term, right? Like it's meant for a season, a few months, maybe a year. And then, you kind of need to reassess how you're doing. Your body can build up a tolerance to them over time too. So don't just like load up on adaptogens every single day, because then if there comes a time where you really are under increased amount of, and you want to incorporate an adaptogen to help yourself cope with that, your body may not respond and it may not be an effective tool for you anymore. So I did want to share that warning with you guys really fast before we wrap up. So I think that that was all of my bullet points. I did just want to share more about what adaptogens are. I'm curious, do you take adaptogens? Have you learned something new about adaptogens today? What are you taking with you? What are you going to apply? That I really care about you learning, but also applying things, because just consuming information and taking passive action is not going to get you to your goals. So let me know what you're going to try. Let me know what you're going to do. Let me know what you're going to let go of and reduce your stress so that we're not relying on things like adaptogens as much. So if there's anything I can do to support you on your journey, reach out. I'd love to talk, and we'll talk next time. Thank you so much for listening to the entire episode. I hope you are feeling inspired and empowered to take bold action towards your health goals. If you enjoy what you heard, don't forget to follow my show so you never miss a new episode. And it would mean the world to me if you left me a review so others knew what to expect from my show. Last, get in touch. Let me know what bold action you're taking. Let me know how you're inspired. Follow me on Instagram at the_healthygut_dietitian. I've put a link in my show notes for you so you can simply click and follow. Come say hi. I respond to all my messages, and I can't wait to get in touch.